What's up? You're listening to an episode of Thorn in Your Side. And now I'm your host, C. Thorn. This is the podcast where I talk about information and opinions, both popular and unpopular, related to random topics, both serious and non-serious. And you might as well listen because it needs to be said. Also, you already pressed the play button. So take a break, sit somewhere, and prepare to be entertained and informed. It's so hot outside. Woo! I know it's the summer, but come on. I keep hearing people say that a certain day was the hottest day on earth, but then the next day is even hotter. Someone needs to tell Mother Nature to calm down before we all melt. Lucky for me, I have a very nice AC unit in my house, and it's probably why that gangsta gacha whale is still here. Can you believe he's still sleeping? He has to be hibernating. On the plus side, I was able to clean up all that water, so I'm happy. Like I said before, it's summertime, which means there's been some summer-related events happening in the television shows we watch, as well as the games we play. This also means that there's been more fan service everywhere since people are wearing beach attire, which means less clothing. Unfortunately, this also means that certain kinds of characters in video games and cartoons will be wearing very revealing outfits. And some of them look like young kids. To make things worse, they're not actually kids. They're lolis. Yuck. Yuck. Now, to all the people who like playing video games, online games, mobile games, as well as watching cartoons, I don't mean to be a thorn in your side, but society needs to stop sexualizing. You will not say bad things about my precious lolis. They make mobile games delicious. Dude, what the heck is wrong with you? I just finished getting rid of all that water, yet you wake up and bring it back within seconds? Why, I oughta do nothing, home slice. I should slap the taste out your mouth for disrespecting my lolis. They're cute, fun, and tasty. I always give lots of money to get as many lolis as possible. Don't make me mad, Woney. Oh yeah? One thing I don't tolerate is someone interrupting my tagline. So I'm gonna need you to close your mouth. Seriously, close your mouth. Your breath smells like fish and black licorice. Ugh, nasty. Back to what I was saying. To all the people who like playing video games, online games, mobile games, as well as watching cartoons, and also the companies who create the cartoons and develop games, then again, let's just say everybody. I don't mean to be a thorn in your side, but society needs to stop sexualizing young people, and that includes kids and especially lolis. In case you all don't know, a loli is basically a character in fiction who looks much younger than they actually are. In other words, they're much older than they look. I'm not talking about a few years. I'm talking about a few decades. And sometimes Centuries. If you watch cartoons or play games, then there's a high chance you saw a character who looks like a little kid, but is actually hundreds of years old. Whether that character is an alien, goddess, fairy, or the human form of a fictional creature, it looks, sounds, and sometimes acts like a kid. That's a loli. For a long time, lolis have been very popular in fictional media, especially in Asian countries. Nowadays, the term loli can refer to a kid-like character that looks much older than they are, or an actual kid that's the expected young age. Unfortunately, whenever something is popular, there's a high chance that it's for the wrong reasons. Since lolis are characters that look like kids, they usually end up attracting too much attention. And it's usually the wrong kind of attention. There are lots of people who like lolis for the wrong reasons, including creepy perverts who like staring at the...
That's not fair, human! There's nothing wrong with having lolis around because it's variety! Not only do they have the juiciest kneecaps and tender inner thighs, but they're so cute! I just want to take one home with me.
We don't need to hear that, so stop talking. Please, Mr. Whale, this is actually pretty serious. Regardless of how old these characters actually are, they still look like little kids. If someone looks, talks, and acts like a little kid, then guess what? That's a kid. That is a kid. A lot of people think it's okay to put lolis in games and cartoons just because they're technically old enough to do anything they want, which includes giving consent to certain activities. That bothers me. And if you're okay with that nonsense, then you're just a nasty piece of...
human! Why do you think lolis are so popular in the first place? Developers and companies can easily treat them like adults and exploit them for profit. That means giving them skimpy outfits and sexualizing them. And since you humans are okay with pedophilia, who do you think is spending and gambling all that money on them?
Wow. Mr. Whale, you make a very good point. As much as I hate to admit it, pedophilia is a big problem in society. Not just in our country, but all over the world. Seriously, just look at all the cartoons and games that put a lot of focus on their kid characters. Now, there's nothing wrong with having kids as the main characters of these cartoons and games, but it's absolutely cringy when they're sexualized. Perfect example, just look at the games in the App Store. There are so many mobile games in the App Store that have close-up pictures of a little girl wearing...
Don't you dare bring mobile games into this, human! Whales and players like me don't like being labeled. And just because I like juicy kneecaps and inner thighs does not make me a weirdo. They just look so yummy, especially on little girls. I can't help it.
You're kidding me, right? Mr. Whale, it's impossible to talk about pedophilia and not bring up mobile games. Have you seen most of the games in the App Store? A bunch of them have close-ups of little girls as a thumbnail. Even worse is when one of the screenshots has her legs elevated, so we have a clearer view of her.
Stop it, human! You're just mad because Pokemon Master X made those two twin girls playable instead of Matt for the summer event. And they added that ice girl with the super short shorts to the trainer lodge. So many juicy kneecaps to look at. And those inner thighs. That game loves letting us talk to underage waifus. And I love it. My harem of little girls is constantly growing. And my flippers are getting very excited.
Quiet. Shut up. First of all, stop bringing up Pokemon Masters EX. Yes, I'm annoyed that Matt still isn't playable yet, and we all know that he's a victim of outright racism because he was the only non-white person out of 7 to not become playable despite having the most important role in that event quest that happened summer 2022. That's a fact, and I don't care how much people want to pretend it's not racism, because it clearly is racism. Remember, people, regardless of the media, you should never be okay with discrimination and racism. If only Dina and Nintendo will be fair enough to make things right. But I digress. Second, one of those twin girls is actually a boy.
What?
So don't stare too hard at them. Third, I hate to say it, but mobile games is probably the most common platform to exploit little kids and lolis. And I'm not just talking about predatory business practices. Seriously, I'm tired of playing a fun mobile game or video game and then a loli gets introduced. And all she does is cause cringe and awkwardness. Lots of screen time, a voice that's probably high-pitched and annoying, and she might have a questionable outfit. Even worse is when the camera likes to stay close to her and get low and or zoom in during cutscenes. And she just happens to be wearing short shorts or showing a large amount of her thighs, if not all of her legs. Why do some companies think it's okay to have young girls, loli or not, wearing risque outfits like that? Oh, that's right. Profit. As we all should know by now, gacha games are all about gambling for content, and most of the whales and weirdos like to gamble for their dream waifu or dream harem, which is 170% creepy. What's wrong with y'all?
I don't like your tone, human. It's not my fault that companies will do anything for money, including exploit little kids. I'm just a whale who's a hunk that likes to get crunk while having junk in the trunk. As long as I have the money, then these companies better keep those lolis coming. I love it, and they satisfy me in so many ways. I love it so much.
Stop. Just stop talking. You're such a cringy creature. In case you all forgot, I had no goals of being a thorn in your side. But companies need to stop sexualizing kids for profit and popularity. And that includes lolis. Everyone should know by now that one of the main reasons why lolis are so popular in fiction is because certain kinds of people can get away with staring and spending money on them with no guilt. Yeah, I said it. I said it because it's the truth. Cartoons, games, and especially fan art are the main platforms for where lolis are abundant. When it comes to pedophilia, it just seems like lolis are an exception. After all, they're not actually kids. They just look like kids. Although that little girl looks like she just graduated from kindergarten, she's actually a 500-year-old dragon. Although that other little girl looks very innocent with a baby face, she's actually an 800-year-old fairy. There are way too many times in which the most popular character in the franchise is a little girl, and the companies know this. Whether she's the mascot or the main character, you have this little girl who's the face of the franchise, and companies will gladly cater to the character's fan base, no matter how creepy they might be. Their actions might seem innocent at first, but they know exactly what they're doing, and they know exactly what their fan base wants to see.
It's obvious that the companies just want that money. Who cares about standards when you can make millions of dollars just by sexualizing kids? It's so easy, especially in mobile games, cartoons, and fan art. Some of you humans won't admit it, but most of y'all like looking at the cute little girls. And they even have feelings for them. As for me, I like kneecaps and I cannot lie. My homies can't deny. When a girl comes by with juicy knees and thighs that can't be beat, I get
Quiet! Just be quiet. Mr. Whale, do you realize how creepy you sound right now? Yes, I know that pedophilia isn't that big of a deal to some people, and I'm sure there are lots of people with lots of money who are pedophiles, including the rich and famous. You have people willing to gamble hundreds, if not thousands of dollars just to get their Dorima waifu or Dorima harem, no matter how young those characters look. It's absolutely disgusting. And cretins like you are the reason why companies keep promoting it. I can't stand that kind of nonsense. And I wish all those weirdos would just go
to... Wody. Don't be hating just because I take advantage of you humans having perverted interests. Just for that, I'm gonna bring one of my homeboys to help me put you in your place. I'll be back. Oceanside.
Hey, come back here. I hate to admit it, but that gangsta gacha whale made some good points. There's way too much focus on little kids in the entertainment industry, especially in certain games and cartoons. Using lolis to supposedly bypass pedophilia is just crazy. Well, I guess this means there won't be a final point since we aren't done talking about this. Since he's bringing one of his friends as backup, I might need some backup as well. I wonder if Lizzie B is available. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Thorn in Your Side. And I'm your host, C. Thorn. Feel free to subscribe, share, follow, tweet, comment, post, and all that other good stuff. And there'll be another absolutely awesome episode next week. And remember, be smart and stay sharp.